Welcome to another episode of Take Off Monday, where we discuss topics dealing with entrepreneurship, career transition, podcasting, and live streaming. I'm Rosanna Catalano, and I started a company a little over 3 years ago called Rocket Ship Consultants. I spent years working in different industries, and it has given me a really unique perspective and an incredible professional network. I primarily now work as a lobbyist with Capital Access and a business consultant for Rocket Ship, and I have a background in radio and television news. I worked as a trial attorney, a prosecutor. I worked for years as an associate dean in higher education, and I ran a state agency. The idea behind Rocket Ship Consultants is about changing your trajectory. At different points in our lives, we have all been stuck. We have felt that we keep hitting our head against a wall or a ceiling. We just can't get to that next level. And I've always found in my personal life and in my professional life that it sometimes takes a pair of fresh eyes to help guide us there. The answers lie within us, but it sometimes helps to have someone make a key introduction for you. It also sometimes takes some coaching and consulting to help you focus, prioritize, and inspire you to be out of your comfort zone. Studies on growth show most learning and growing occur at the point when you are uncomfortable. This is where the magic happens in life. This concept inspired me to create my company that would help launch people in their careers and businesses. It's an amazing feeling to work with clients and see them grow and prosper. It's truly rewarding. With all of that being said, our company could not do what it does without our amazing team members. I'm honored to host this show with Joy.
Hi, I'm Joy Tootle, and I work at Rocket Ship Consultants. Our team is made up of attorneys. Each of us, including myself, have a really unique background. I spent time working in private law practice, and then I worked in healthcare. I'm a former assistant attorney general and the former executive director of the Florida Board of Medicine. A few years later, I was appointed by the governor to serve as a consumer member of the Florida Board of Medicine. I also spent years teaching at the university level. I've spent the last year jumping headfirst into podcasting and video streaming with shows like this one. Speaking of our show, let's talk about our topic: raising money and securities regulation.
One of the greatest hurdles for any entrepreneur is raising money for a new or expanding early stage company with unknown management and no track record. Traditional loans from commercial banks will most likely not be available. And if they are, then these loans may have unacceptable terms or provide insufficient funding. We have touched on these concepts before on the show, but let's review a bit before we jump into securities regulation tonight.
Yes, each source of funding has pros and cons, and more than one source of funding might be suitable for a given company.
I think the hardest question for entrepreneurs is whether to give up control, autonomy over the business in exchange for the necessary funding. And sometimes it can't be avoided, but a smart entrepreneur is going to understand the importance of taking into account not only their slice of the pie, but also the size of the pie itself. Look, it is way better to be a minority shareholder in a really well-financed startup than completely owning a venture that goes nowhere. It has no traction because it is underfinanced.
You can self-finance your business through your own money or by carefully managing your cash resources. This is typically called bootstrapping, and we've talked about this concept before on the show. This is where you maybe adjust the number of days you pay your vendor or structure contracts so that clients are paying you more money up front. Startups seeking to raise a relatively small amount of money, typically only a few $100,000 or less, to develop consumer products, may want to use crowdfunding platforms online. These platforms find customers who are willing to fund product development by pre-ordering products, as opposed to making an equity or debt investment. You've all seen these crowdfunding platforms pop into your social media news feeds. It's always some really cool gadget. Two of the most popular are Kickstarter and Indiegogo.
Yeah, they're very popular. And keep in mind, though, that these platforms are not helpful to people planning to sell their products to other businesses. Obviously, the big benefit to self funding is that you remain in control and you save time. Self financing allows you to start running out the gate with your idea rather than meeting people and making presentations to try to win funding.
Exactly. You would not need to go on the TV show Shark Tank if you could self-fund. Self-funding does have a downside, though. Sometimes you can't raise enough funding to cover overhead and salaries. You may have to offer a personal guarantee, which then puts your personal assets at risk.
Let's go ahead and take a quick commercial break and then discuss some other ways to raise capital and get into securities regulation.
Sounds good.
At Rocket Ship Consultants, our mission is to launch your business, career, or podcast. Our team works with you to start and grow your business with fresh ideas and inspiration. Let us make key introductions on your behalf and leverage our network of contacts. Talk to us before you send your application in for a new position, a university admission, or a scholarship. From resumes and interview preparation to negotiating offers, our experienced career advisors can help you at all levels achieve your career goals. Let us help you take that dream you have for a podcast or video and turn it into a reality. Rocket Ship Consultants offers a variety of services, so check out our website at rocketshipconsultants.com. Take off with Rocket Ship Consultants and launch your business, career, or podcast with us. And we're back. We're talking about raising capital for your business. And then we're going to talk about securities regulation later. So, another way besides self-financing is friends and family can help you fund your business. Friends and family seldom seek an active role in your business, and they usually loan the money with terms that are very favorable to you, the entrepreneur, because, your friends and family are supporting you and they want you to do well.
Yes, that's true, but be careful. Friends and family usually don't come with any expertise that can help your business grow, and you really do put your personal relationships at risk when money gets involved. You could always fund with an angel investor, and this can be a quick source of seed capital. Angel investors often do not seek an active role in the business, and they usually bring some expertise to the business.
Yes, but sometimes angel investors do not have the depth of knowledge that a venture capital firm will have and the depth of a pocketbook, if you know what I mean.
Yes, venture capital firms differ widely in their preferred technologies, products, industries, and size of investment. Venture capitalists have the deep pockets and the expertise to suggest strategy.
Yes, but VCs won't stick around forever. They begin to plan their exit strategy with you and your company before they even join your venture. They are expecting to be paid in equity, so you're giving up quite a bit of control, and they will want representation on your board of directors. You can also fund through grant money, government financing, and strategic alliances. Check out our blog post at www.rocketshipconsultants.com from last week, where we talk about these concepts a bit more. So there are a number of investment securities. Most investors will want to purchase preferred stock or some type of convertible debt instrument like a promissory note that can be converted into stock. Some investors will want warrants or at least a right of first refusal to purchase any new securities that may be issued by your startup. Generally, the investor is in the driver's seat with more bargaining power than you because there's just a whole heck of a lot more startups competing for less pots of money, shall we say. Supply and demand.
Keep in mind that you can't just issue stock and securities without complying with government regulations. Most states have enacted their own securities laws, and of course, the Securities Act of 1933 regulates us all at the federal level. The 1933 Act requires promoters of securities offerings to register them with the Securities and Exchange Commission, the SEC. This is a federal regulatory agency. The 1933 Act also requires promoters to provide prospective purchasers with a prospectus containing material information about the company, its management, and the offering, unless the transaction is exempt from registration.
Wait, did you just say exemption from regulation? Now you're speaking my language. How can I avoid, all of this complicated stuff with Uncle Sam that you're talking about today?
Well, registered public offerings of stock are really expensive, usually more than $1 million in out-of-pocket expenses. So the sale of securities to private investors or venture capitalists are always structured to be exempt from the federal registration requirements. An offering of securities may be exempt from federal registration if it meets certain criteria, like if the offering is in a single state, if the offering is to the public of up to $45 million, if it's a private offering, like an offering solely to the employees or the board members, consultants, and advisors, if the offering is of any amount to accredited investors and a limited number of sophisticated, unaccredited investors, if it's a crowdfunding offering up to $1 million, or a public offering of up to $50 million pursuant to an SEC notice of qualification, or if it's an offshore offering.
That sounds great to get out of the regulations, but it also sounds really technical.
It really is. And that comes to our next point, that the entrepreneur should not do this alone. They must have the right attorneys and accountants to guide them through this very complicated process.
We've talked about this before. Having the right team with you in your company is key to its growth and staying out of trouble with the regulators. We even had an entire episode on how to hire an attorney to join your team. Absolutely key person to have in management with your company. And speaking of teams, let's talk about how we are expanding our team and strategic partnerships here at Rocket Ship Consultants. We're seeking to team up with more businesses to sponsor this show. We are always talking about taking everything to the next level, and it's time to take this show in a new direction. If you're interested in sponsoring our show or just an upcoming episode relevant to your industry, contact us.
We stream live every Monday night at 8 p.m. to the Rocket Ship Consultants Facebook page and YouTube channel. And now we even stream to Rosanna's LinkedIn page.
I have been a fan of LinkedIn as a social media platform for a very long time. I have been cultivating professional connections for 2 decades. So I am thrilled to be live streaming to that platform where I have nearly 5,000 professional connections. Please let us know if your company would like to team up with a sponsorship. Our contact information, I think, is scrolling right below me. Yeah, it is. And we'll also have it up at the end of the show. Well, that wraps up our show for today. So good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night, Joy.